Right, welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be listening to Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by the Arctic Monkeys. This is the last album that we have to listen to for the Arctic Monkeys. When it came out, it got mixed reception by fans, me being one of them. I wasn't huge on it at the time, so I haven't really come back to it in a while. So, should be interesting. Obviously, you've never listened to this before.
Yeah, never heard it. It's the last one for me to hear in terms of proper LPs. And obviously we've been away for a while. We've had exams, so it's good to be back. Hope you guys haven't just gone missing. And we hope you enjoy the video. So we'll get right into it. Track number 1, Star Treatment.
To be one of the Strokes. Now look at the mess you made me make. Hitchhiking with a monogrammed suitcase, miles away from any half-useful imaginary highway. I'm a big name in deep space, so who you gonna call? The Martini Police. That isn't how they look tonight. Oh no, it took the light forever to get to your eyes. So who you gonna call? The Martini Police.
Right, so what were your thoughts on the introduction track?
Yeah, I liked the instrumental quite a lot. And I thought the effect on the vocals, like the reverby sort of echo effect, worked for this song as well. Yeah. It was pretty good. It felt like quite classy, you know what I mean? Everything was very slow tempo. Vocals were almost like, I don't know, it's the way he sang them. It was like almost like he was a bit like Frank Sinatra-esque type singing.
Yeah, this album goes for that sort of like lounge feel
exactly.
to it. Like, to give context, like the title of the album, Tranquility Base Hotel. Tranquility Base was the site of the first moon landing, so it's sort of like this would be the music that you would hear in a casino / hotel in space. So that's sort of spacey lounge vibe.
Yeah, it's quite spacey music, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of references to like deep space and like stars and like when the light hits your eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, even the title,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just very classy. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good so far, I'd say. Did you like this the first time you heard it?
Wasn't my cup of tea then, and still I think a bit too like slow for my taste, this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, like, if it was like this for the whole album, this slow, then yeah, I would think it's too slow. But for one song, I can definitely I can handle it to start it off, and I think it works in that sense. But yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of it every
like,
single time.
For me, like like a 6-minute song where it's sort of quite similar all the way through. I find that to be, it doesn't really hold my attention as someone who loses their attention easily.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Totally fair enough. Getting to the next song then, track number 2, 1 Point Perspective.
Dancing in my underpants I'm gonna run for government. I'm gonna form a covers band and all. Back there by the baby grand, did Mr. Winter Wonderland say, come here kid, we really need to talk. Bear with me man, I lost my train of thought. Oh, just as the apocalypse finally gets prioritized, and you cried some of the hottest tears you ever cried, multiplied by 5, I suppose the singer must die.
Right, so thoughts on track number 2, 1 point perspective.
My 1 point perspective on 1 point perspective.
You're only taking 1 point perspective on it.
Yeah, my own. Is that the instrumental was pretty cool, and I liked how it all opened up following just the piano at the start, and was very spacey. And I do just like spacey music a lot in terms of instrumentals, so it's very natural for me to gravitate towards it already. I'm kind of just gravitating towards the instrumental, I guess. Alex Turner just has to prove to me that I definitely am getting grabbed by the vocals as well. I think they're not bad, but they're sort of just riding along with the instrumental. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more passionate songs, I'd say, in terms of delivery at some point. We'll see. But yeah, no, I'm just really enjoying the instrumentals and just the flow. And just
Yeah. No, I like the
guitar solo as
instrumental
well.
a lot more in this one. It's a lot more sort of dynamic. The
Yeah,
way
no,
it
it's
kind of
definitely more
changes
dynamic,
through
yeah.
the song.
I'd say it's definitely better than the first.
Yeah, yeah, because it starts out with like the sort of solitary piano, and then like slowly you get like the bass guitar added in,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you're finding yourself like in the instrumental with the guitar solo going crazy, and yeah, it's just a nice song.
Yeah.
What more is there to say?
Pleasant.
Really? Yeah.
Alright, on to American Sports, track number 3, and this can't be a good song.
Basketball.
Football? What do you fucking mean?
You
Soccer?
mean soccer?
Shut up. Sorry for anyone who's American, but I'm actually not that sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry at all. Get a grip.
So when you gaze at planet Earth from outer space, does it wipe that stupid look off of your face? I saw this aura over the battleground states. I lost the money, lost the keys, but I'm still handcuffed to the briefcase. And I never thought, not in a million years, that I'd meet so many Lolas. Can I please have my money back? My virtual reality mask is stuck on Parliament Pro. Emergency battery pack, just in time for my weekly chat with God on video call. And I never thought, not in a million years, that I'd meet so many Lolas.
Right, so thoughts on American sports, and then obviously I'm talking about the song because we all know that American football is a made-up sport.
Exactly. I liked how it opened up to the sort of futuristic synthy sound, but then sort of just transitioned into just traditional stuff,
Yeah,
which is good. And yeah, I think the instrumental was pretty decently strong again. Probably not quite as strong vocals in my opinion in this one as the previous. I just think a bit repetitive at times.
yeah,
But the lyrics definitely were very extravagant to the point where I didn't even really understand them all at the first point. So I'm not gonna bash them. But yeah, I just thought the chorus was a little bit less enthusiastic.
It's similar to the car in the way that it's very heavily metaphorical stuff. Not a lot of things are just plain to the eye. I reckon you'd have to spend a long time.
Yeah, so don't assume that I'm going to know everything straight away. I think that's a safe bet. But yeah, it's linking together well, I'd say, each song. It's cohesive, so that's always a plus.
I mean, this one definitely is sticking to the theme. Right? It's got that, like, this one had the goofy sci-fi noise going off in the first half, defo. Like they had R2D2 on the mic or something.
Yeah, no, it's definitely spacey. As soon as you said that, no, I'm just reading the lines very differently.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Alright, well.
Yeah, fun bit of trivia for you about Tranquility bass. Impress your friends at parties with that little factoid.
Anyway, getting on to the title track. Track number 4. Tranquility bass, Hotel and Casino. Shouldn't have really had to search.
Jesus in the bass bar, filling out the information form. Mama got her hair done, just popping out to sing a protest song. Technological advances really bloody get me in the mood. Pull me in close on a crispy baby, kiss me underneath the moon's side. Good afternoon, Tranquility Base, Hotel and Casino. Mark speaking. Please tell me, how may I direct your call? And do you celebrate your dark side? Hotel and Casino. Mark speaking. Please tell me, how may I direct your call?
Right, thoughts on the title track?
Yeah, it was probably the most futuristic sounding one so far. Still some traditional stuff in there, of course, like the piano chords and all that stuff, guitars, but there's some very sort of high pitch frequency stuff going on, futuristic sounding robot stuff, R2D2 sounding stuff. As you said.
They defo got R2D2 in for a studio session, I think.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting, the vocals very sort of almost like whispery at some points when it's going high pitch, and it didn't match the instrumental's intensity, but I'm not saying they tried to, whatever. It's probably like an intentional conflict, but as the instrument was getting like really passionate, his vocals are still sort of just very dimmed down, mellow.
Yeah.
Can't say I like it or dislike it yet though, but just thought it was interesting. In terms of the lyrics, I am quite lost in terms of, you know, any story that has been developing throughout this, if I'm totally honest. So if you have anything, you know, that you could help with, let me know. If not, it's all good.
I think he's kind of spewing out just general weirdness.
Yeah, it kind of is like that. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus in the day spa filling out the information form is just like...
Yeah, talking about...
there's only so many things that can mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Talking about technological advances, getting them in the mood. That might be like an Elon Musk quote or something like that.
If it is someone, let us know.
You know, it's just... It's like, it does give me like sort of Space Odyssey vibes. Like, I always think about that film when I listen to this album, just because it's a similar sort of weird vibe of the future. But yeah, in terms of actually understanding line by line, I think it's very open to interpretation.
Yeah, I think this is even more...
Who is Mark?
Yeah, who's Mark? I think it's even more sort of metaphoric than even the car is, to be honest. Because even that, like, although some of our potential meanings were a bit outlandish, like at least we could sort of grasp something.
Yeah.
Like certain metaphors were kind of obvious what they might mean in terms of like his personal life. For this, it's really just I'm struggling.
I think this
to hit the mark.
This album is the product of a lot of drug consumption. I would think that is my scientific estimation on this one.
What science have you carried out?
Hypothesis: I reckon the bloke's done a lot of drugs to make the album. Data collected, the first 4 songs. Conclusion: he's done a lot of drugs.
What significance level are we talking about?
I'd be willing to test this down to like a 3% significance level. That's how confident I am that he's done drugs. Even a 1%.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're talking in general, not for the album, it's probably like 0.001. Alright, moving on to track number 5 before we waffle too long. Golden Trunks.
Last night when my psyche's subcommittee sang to me in its scary voice, you slowly dropped your eyelids. When true love takes a grip, it leaves you without a choice. And in response to what you whispered in my ear, I wish that me sometime. I'm sure you've heard about enough. So in response to what you whispered in my ear, I'll be upfront. Sometimes I fantasize about you too.
So, thoughts on Golden Trunks?
It was very interesting. It's a very peculiar sound collection.
Agreed. So, do you think it was a Trump bar? The leader of the free world, aka the President of the United States, obviously at the time, 2018, that was Trump. Reminds you of a wrestler wearing golden trunks.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it could be. Probably would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think just the whole sort of clash of the vocals, almost like they're like very jingly almost.
Jingly.
With all of the harmonies going on, like the sort of harmonies you sort of class as like Christmassy almost. But the instrumental very like sort of eerie. It was an interesting collision.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my head around whether I was satisfied by that sound or if it was just a bit too weird for me the first time around. But yeah, it's definitely different.
It is.
Track number 6, 4 out of 5. 80%, pretty decent.
You take it.
Advertising imaginative ways. Start your free trial today. Come on in the water's lovely look. You could meet someone you like. You're in the meat of your strike. It is that easy. Lunar surface on a Saturday night. Dressed up in silver and white with colored old grey whistle test lights. Take it easy for a little while. Come and stay with us. It's such an easy flight. Cute new places keep on popping up since the Exodus. It's all getting gentrified. I put a taqueria
thoughts on 4 out of 5?
Probably give it near enough 4 out of 5, which is pretty good, I'd say. It had a very good sort of structured tempo to it, you know, just like marching beat. And I liked that.
Yeah.
It really kept me bopping my knees.
No, it's one of my preferred instrumentals.
Yeah, and you know the way it went right for the last almost 10 seconds.
Yeah.
If they like did that a bit longer, a bit earlier,
I thought it sounded pretty cool when it was all distorted, to be fair, and the beat was all distorted. Almost like Kanye West type 808s and not really sort of drums.
that would have been cool if they did that earlier to this, but they still did it, so the point remains that it was pretty cool. And I think I was going to probably, if it didn't develop, complain for how long it was sort of taking for the outro, but then obviously the instrumental did start, like the dynamics did rise and they started getting louder and louder as new things came in, so I actually did appreciate it at the end.
Yeah.
So that's good, they managed to actually make something of the 5 minutes instead of 3 minutes, because I think sometimes some of their 5-minute songs you think could just be 3.5 minutes, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one I think it worked, and yeah, I was mainly focused on the instrumentals, to be honest. I was really just getting a groove for it, and yeah, very positive. Probably one of the best ones I'd say so far.
Yeah.
If not the best one so far. So yeah.
I think lyrically it's kind of parodying sort of like modern existence, like advertising and sort of things that we've seen happen recently with gentrification.
Yeah.
And that it's just sort of taking the piss out of, like, you know, the start your free trial today kind of culture that we're living in at the moment, where everything's a subscription.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get you to spend your last £10 on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of stuff, where it's like, yeah, just all too much, and then the 4 stars out of 5, and that's unheard of. All that kind of advertising, it's just sort of, you get bombarded with it a lot of the time, about how fantastic all these products and places are, and sometimes you just think that's bullshit, innit? I think it's taking the piss a bit out of that in a sort of light-hearted way.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know what the information action ratio is. I don't know.
No, that was like sound like some crazy theoretical.
I think I don't know, but yeah, it could be to do with like advertising, where it's like you've got to get the right ratio of like informative content to interesting content.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, the reason that there are a lot of sort of, you know, a lot of the feeling of like, oh, this must be bollocks, I think it's like getting worse and worse these days, because the being interesting versus informative, I think you have to be more interesting now, because everyone's fucking attention spans are so short. Everyone's just scrolling, so as a result, ads are just getting a bit more fucking annoying.
Yeah, you see like them
but also reaching those people and really hitting those people who really are interested by them, whereas if they're informative, people would just be like,
you see them TikToks where they're like the Subway Surfer man's like running down below, and you can't pay attention to it unless you've got a little Subway Surfer man running around.
Exactly, you gotta have some gameplay in the background just for a normal video talking about something.
People's brains are getting slowly fried.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I don't know if he's talking quite to that specific, because he's in a completely different generation anyway. I doubt he really comes across the GTA gameplay background type videos.
Yeah.
He knows sort of roughly what's going on, because it's across the whole sphere. So.
But the free trial thing, like, you see that with the millions of subscriptions that you're asked to have now.
Yeah, well, like, first 3 months is only £1 a month, and then it goes to like 12, and it's like you're gonna forget by the time it goes to 12, and you're gonna just realise 6 months later when you've seen your bank statement, it's like, wait, where's this £12 coming every month from? Happened to me a few times on some things, like, where you haven't even used the thing until we're paying a subscription.
Yeah, we've all been caught lacking by it.
Yeah,
it's how they get you. They don't actually want you to use the product. They just want you.
They don't need you to use it.
They just want you to forget that you've got it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, track number 7, the world's first ever monster truck front flip.
Now that's something I'd be interested in seeing.
Yeah. They've started a lot with these.
You push the button and we'll do the rest. The exotic sound of data storage. just a bad girl trying to be good. I've got a laser dot in my love that I cannot suggest. Forward thinking, model villages, more brain shrinking, moving images. You push the button and we'll do the rest.
Right, thoughts on the world's first ever monster truck front flip?
Unfortunately, didn't get to see the front flip,
Yeah,
but I don't think you can.
I was
expect
hoping
that
for a
from
more
sounds.
vivid description of the monster truck
Yeah.
front flipping, but unfortunately we got something else.
But yeah, no, as I mentioned at the start, it was interesting that sort of everything, well, not everything, but a lot of the songs have been built around just like a piano, staccato, walking sort of piano. And
Yeah.
It's just gone throughout the whole song, and then everything around it has come in, come out, introduced, disappeared, etc. But it does create a dynamic, but it also, obviously, naturally, if there's something happening throughout the whole song, makes it stick together. So
Yeah, well, I think I saw something when this album came out that it was like mostly sort of like composed in like LA at his house, just like on the piano,
Yeah.
which you can kind of hear.
Yeah, and a lot of the best songs are just originated from one guitar or one piano and just sort of some chords,
Feeling
and just
free
singing
to
over them
experiment,
and just
yeah.
getting the story right before you actually start making it extravagant is actually just an effective way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the title has like something more in terms of connecting to the lyrics in the song.
Well, I've got a sort of loose theory because
Yeah,
obviously throughout the thing there's sort of this you push the button and we'll do the rest, like that line got repeated a lot, and
Yeah,
then
no.
there was things about moving images and like brain shrinking.
yeah,
I think it's probably sort of criticising again that culture that we live in now, where it's sort of like you can kind of just like watch anything, you can just sit there, you can just press buttons and things happen.
yeah,
Like sort of like very like postmodern, sort of like detached from reality, kind of, you know, having sort of like fake experiences through the internet,
definitely.
which
And they're easier to have, of course.
yeah, I saw a thing where it's like people today actually have a harder time sort of determining reality from like what you see in like images and things, where it's
Yeah.
like if you showed someone a photo of like a forest today and you asked them what's this, they'd say a forest and not a photo of a forest. And we're kind of
Yeah.
losing that distinction between what's real and what isn't,
Yeah,
you know.
100%. And I think it just ties into just, you know, the way it's happening is because it is so easy to be done.
Yeah.
Just by the push of the button. It's just like instant gratification. Or
Gratification.
Gratification.
Yeah.
I was getting mixed up with satisfaction. It's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, really. So we have no incentive, really, off of each moment to take the long-term good choices in a lot of ways. And people are just getting stuck up in a cycle of just doing the easiest thing because it gives them that rush or gives them that instant gratification.
Gratification.
I'm struggling there. But
Or
you get the point.
satisfaction.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a way-
my mixture of both. I think neither word's better than the other to describe it, so I just decided to mix the two. Sometimes
Yeah.
you've got to do that. A hybrid word does work for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Add it to the dictionary.
economics students, you'll know about the word satisfice. That's like a mixture of satisfying and,
Mm.
you know, sufficing.
Yeah.
So we get creative with words down at the old economics department of miscellaneous uni, which we shall not reveal.
Yeah. No, I think it does hit the mark, which it said it missed in another song, but it hits the mark in terms of that area of social issues.
No, I did find
things going on.
the lyrical content quite interesting on that one.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the world's first ever monster truck front flip is the idea, like the sort of general sort of bullshit YouTube video that you'll find yourself watching.
It's just the title of everything. It just lures
But
you in.
like, I've never been interested in like monster trucks, but if I saw that YouTube video, I probably would click it, and then I'd
Yeah.
probably click another 7 monster truck videos.
Yeah.
and then suddenly 2 hours of your life are gone.
And half the time, most of the time, titles are just so exaggerated. You kind of know from past experience that a video isn't really going to be how the title sounds. But you second guess it, and you're like, but it could be, and you always end up pressing it anyway, only to find out you were right all along. But you'll still do it. That's the problem. You will still do it.
Well, it's like that thing where it's like 100% of gamblers quit before they win $1 trillion. So, what if this video actually does have cool monster truck front flips? I'm willing to roll those dice every time.
Alright, track number 8, science fiction, which ties into sort of how it's been sounding.
The theme. Indeed.
Religious iconography, giving you the creep. Feel rubber band, disco lizard, tongue along your cheek. The rise of the machine. I must admit you gave me something momentarily in which I could believe. But the hand of harsh reality's ungrown, and it's on its way back here to scoop you up. But not on my watch. I wanna stay with you, my love, the way some science fiction does. So I tried to write a song to make you blush, but I've a feeling that the whole thing may well just end up too clever for its own good. The way some science fiction does.
Thoughts on science fiction?
Yeah, I was thinking when it first started, I thought the instrumentation might be a little bit more sort of futuristic, and there was some slight elements of that, but it was mainly actually just even acoustic guitars which came in, which is very traditional, if anything.
Yeah.
But no, I liked the instrumental. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just an observation, and I think, yeah, he's sort of sending the same message he's been sending the same sort of last 3-4 songs.
It was quite like a meta song.
Yeah, exactly.
on the album, where it's kind of like all that stuff where it's send out the hidden messages and all that stuff and make it sound cool in a science fiction-y way. That's what he was kind of trying to do earlier on.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he's kind of getting meta about it.
Yeah.
And it definitely seems like he's been sat in his home just watching a lot of science fiction films, because he mentioned, I think in the first one he mentioned Blade Runner.
Yeah,
and it does have a very science fiction-y feel, because it does, as I said, give me Space Odyssey vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I don't know, just a very meta song, and I respect him for it, just being able to reflect on yourself.
Yeah, I guess I found the line interesting where he said, "I've got a feeling that the whole thing may just end up too clever for its own good." That, I think, resonates.
Yeah.
A lot of it. I mean, I think it already is ending up too clever for its own good in terms of algorithms and stuff and social media, all of this stuff. It's sure, it's great for the people on one side, but for the average bloke just trying to get through his day, it's not very fucking helpful.
Yeah, no, I think comparing it to sci-fi is a very good comparison to what he's tried to do on this one, because sometimes sci-fi can be incredibly impactful, and then other times it can be a bit nonsense. So it can go either way, where it can be so abstract that it reveals sort of new information about our own reality, or it can just be nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's teetering on the edge of it right now, and I think you could feel it, you know? So that's my takeaway from the tune.
Fabulous. On to track number 9. She Looks Like Fun.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Smile like you got a straw in something tropical. I've got the party plugged right into my skull. Wayne Manor, what a memorable NY. Baby, but why can't we all just get along? Dance as if somebody's watching, 'cause they are.
So, was she any fun?
I don't know who she is. Can't give you an accurate opinion. But interesting instrumental. Interesting delivery on the chorus.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say that
some...
I would be, coming back to this like, oh, I really want to hear that chorus.
No.
It's a bit goofy. I get it, but it's not my taste of music. It's a bit too... I don't know. It's almost like it should be in a film, not on an album.
Yeah, I think he's kind of on his sort of soapbox.
Exactly.
Like, the last couple songs have kind of been like sort of the kind of chat that you sort of get when you're like 8 pints deep at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And you just, like, everything's starting to just look like bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like a parody of a song rather than a song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, partially when the guitar solos came in, I was like, oh, this partially saved the song for me, because it did sound very nice and smooth. From previously, the first 2 minutes of the song, I think, were almost a bit jaggedy and a bit like the least smooth we've heard on the album. So I was like, oh, is it going to take a full turn? But it did come back to the chorus at the end, so I'm not completely sure on that one. But it had moments, but not my favourite. But what I do find very interesting, which is kind of a bit eerie, he said, no one's on the streets, we all moved it online as of March. Isn't that a bit strange considering this is 2 years before 19?
Damn. That's kind of crazy.
It actually is quite weird.
Yeah, no, it is. Really. This is a bolder prediction than Biggie Smalls predicting 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know what to say about that. Didn't know the bloke had that much about him, but he's really predicting the whole world.
Yeah, the drugs have shown him things.
Yeah, they actually have. So
maybe he really has been to space.
That is interesting. The timing is too accurate as well, because I'm pretty sure it was about a week before March.
Yeah, it was really February, March time, wasn't it?
It was like 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah.
February. So that's a bit weird. But anyway, before it gets too eerie, I reckon we just move on to the next song.
Get right into the Batphone.
Track number 10. Bat.
Batphone.
Batphone.
I like this. This is cool. Sounds like world sounds all come together.
I want an interesting synonym
Like that's like
to describe
That's
this
definitely,
thing
more rural sound.
that you say we're all grandfathered in. Have I told you all about the time that I got sucked into a hole through a handheld device? I will flash back now and again, but I'm usually alright. Thankfully, the process has been simplified. Since the last time you tried, I've recognized the glow of your low beams. Numerous times I've been by the Batphone. If you need to get a hold, making a selection, opening credits roll, panoramic windows looking out across your soul. Panoramic windows looking out across your soul.
So thoughts on a Batphone?
I could listen to the Batphone beat for a long time. That made the song for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It made it potentially like top 2 on the album just because of the beat.
Damn.
Maybe 3. But like, I don't know, it just had something about it. It was fucking groovy. It was just, yeah, just beautiful.
It was cool. It was very unconventional, sort of like.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was like bit disjointed in a way that kind of.
It was very
fit.
industrial. It was like I could imagine it on Peaky Blinders, like to Tommy, like looking hard, walking towards the garrison.
Is that sort
Not
of
the garrison.
Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of beat. Well, yeah, I
Billy
really
Kimber.
oh wow, I love that beat.
Oh wow. I'm all
Alright, honestly though, that beat was very nice.
Very nice, and I just kind of was listening to it so much that I was just tapping along to it.
I kind of got a bit lost in it as well.
Yeah, more than actually really hearing what he had to sing, I guess you'd say. But
Yeah.
he wasn't half bad, so
Didn't stand out as awful.
no. So that's a good sign. It might have been really good for all I know, but I was very, very engulfed by that beat. So
Yeah, it was a very cool.
but that's a
beat.
good thing.
On to track number 11, The Ultra Cheese.
But I've never fucking joked it.
Still got pictures of friends on the wall. I suppose we aren't really friends anymore. Maybe I shouldn't ever call that thing friendly at all. Get freaked out from a knock at the door when I haven't been expecting one. Didn't that used to be part of the fun? Once upon a time, we'll be there at the back of the bar, in a booth like we usually were. Every time there was a rocket launch or some big event, when you were just about to be kind to someone, because you had the chance. I still got pictures of friends on the wall. I might look as if I'm deep in thought, but the truth is I'm probably not. If I ever was. I've done some things that I shouldn't have done, but I haven't stopped loving you once.
Right, so that's the album, The Ultra Cheese.
Well, I thought that was the pinnacle Frank Sinatra-esque performance of the album.
Yeah.
And the pinnacle classy feeling, I'd say. So they kind of ended it like they've sat down in a casino in space with a lovely tall glass of red wine, and they look classy. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I get the red wine feel.
Yeah, that was very nice. It was just very pleasant. You know, the chord structures are like, you know, nothing we've never heard before, because a lot of songs use similar chord structures that have that feel, but it always works, and I'm always going to fall for it. So
Yeah,
I like it.
don't fix what ain't broken.
Exactly.
And yeah, the old sort of open hat piano combination, the sort of three tempo, like that's like very common as well. I love that sort of music, to be honest. I always do. So yeah, it just works. It's an unquestionable formula.
Tried and tested.
Yeah. But it didn't feel too formulaic either, so that's the good part. It felt fluent. So I actually was a big fan of that song. So the last two sort of brought the album up for me, I'd say, clearly. Both sort of maybe in top three, both of them, so
Damn.
may have an impact on the final rating.
Well,
We'll find out.
Find
Unless
out.
you have anything about the lyrics to say about this one, because I was sort of stuck in the beat again.
well, just quite a reflective song again, where it's kind of
Yeah, not friends anymore.
drop the act again, where it's like sort of him just being quite candid. I like that bar. Is like, I might look deep in thought, but I'm probably not. I can relate. Sometimes I'll be zoning out, but I won't be thinking about anything. I'll just be existing.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to just ask you
You can ask me.
what you think about the album and what you might rate it based off of the entirety of the time you've known it and this re-lesson if it's made a difference.
Yeah, it's definitely opened my eyes to things that, because I like on other listens I've less paid attention to the lyrics of the sort of second half of the album, because a lot of the time by that point I've kind of thought he's only going to spout more nonsense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But yeah, there's defo some strong songs in there. Like I love 1 Point Perspective,
Yeah,
4 out of 5, and sort of track 7 onwards. I think like the lyrical content.
Yeah, it was
for all
definitely
of
a lot
them.
more. It was probably more my fault from that point onwards that I didn't understand things, to be honest, more than anything, because it definitely painted a more vivid picture than the other.
It's sort of like the kind of like the sort of come up and come down, where sort of everything's quite abstract at the start, and then things are more sort
it
of
all makes sense again.
yeah, you get a bit more clarity, but oftentimes it's kind of like a depressing clarity, where it's sort of kind of hopeless, I think. So I think it could sort of mirror that whole experience, and I'm kind of talking myself up into giving it a higher mark now. So yeah, I'd give it a 7. I was going to give it a 6, but I've just convinced myself into a 7. So
That's what I was thinking the whole time anyway.
yeah,
So maybe you had bias from the past, I don't know.
Yeah,
You seem to
I
be
was
agreeing
gonna-
with this listen.
give it lower, but yeah, I've just talked myself into it. So well done me, I guess. Or
Yeah.
shame on you.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It was pretty strong. It was definitely different to the car in some ways, but obviously I see the progression a lot, and there's similarities in the vocals, definitely.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the content and theme, obviously it's completely different.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of wanting to listen to it more as well. I think previously, after I finished listening to it and I decided that I didn't like it, I was kind of like, I'm done with that. But now that I've listened to it again, now I'm kind of curious as to see what I can unpack and find out about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm definitely could have been a lot worse, and I guess I wasn't expecting it to be too different from the car because I already sort of had preconceptions. So it's just good that it had its own sort of theme. I think that's helped it a lot, because otherwise I might have just thought, well, it's just the version before this version, but it's not quite like that. So
yeah,
yeah, no, I appreciate it for sure, and I just like the spacey theme because I'm a spacey guy.
damn.
Anyway, let us know what you think about the album, what you would rate it. Do you love it? Do you hate it? And subscribe if you want to see us again
Yeah,
next time. And that'll be in a week from now, because we're back on schedule. We're not going to be disappearing for our exams until we have more exams, which is probably only in a month or two. But you get the point. This is how it is. It's got to be this way.
damn. It's like that.
Bye.
Peace.